We bought our herd of zebu in 2018. They were all adults. They weren't pets. They didn't like to be touched. And for the most part, they still don't like to be touched, with the exception of one cow, which we bought from a separate individual. This is Candy here. She had her little baby this morning, fresh new baby. One thing we do in our program is we try to lock the cows up when they get close to calving, and then we try to imprint on the calves the first week that they're born. So what that means here is I'm going to try to touch that baby from this side of the fence when he's laying up there next to it as much as I possibly can. Sometimes they're small enough they might accidentally roll out. Then I get a really good opportunity to just really rub them all over and get them really used to us. I'm not going to get in the pen with her, and I'm not going to get between her and her baby ever. After the first week, they're going to get moved back out into the big pasture with the rest of the herd, and I will not work or touch with that baby again until weaning time. It needs to learn all the life skills that it needs to stay happy, alive, and survive from its sire, from its dam, the herd dynamics, instincts, all of that. I just feel like it does a lot of good for them, especially in a place like ours where you do have a lot of predators. They need to learn those skills for their own survival. Another important part that I think makes what we do work is we're not going to keep anything that is ill-tempered and nasty. All of our cows are really good-minded, very well-temperamented, even the bull, and that goes such a long way when you're wanting to work with them or train them. One of the first places we're going to start is I have this small pen here that is connected to our big pasture, and about a week before I want to try to catch the cow and calf for weaning, I'm going to feed the herd in this pen every day to get them real comfortable coming in. You can see some of them coming down off the hill and making their way into the pen in this clip. I don't know about anyone else's herd, but our herd is highly suspicious of any changes, so doing this just gets them more comfortable before I ever even try to catch the cow and calf, which seems to make it a lot easier to get them all locked in for separation. Here we are a week later, and the cow and calf I wanted were in the pen, so I was able to go back and just close the gate. And here we're just starting to separate so we can get down to just the calf in this pen. I do have my husband here helping me. It is usually best to have more than one person when you're working cows. Right here we have the dam of the calf that I'm fixing to wean going out, and I'm going to grab that panel and close it behind her just in case she wants to try to come back towards the calf. You give her a minute to kind of go on. She's kind of walking off, so I'm going to open that back up and see if we can get the little bull out of here away from the heifer without her getting out with him. Sometimes it takes a few attempts. I thought we were going to get them separated here, but the little heifer tried to sneak past. Here, my husband steps in to help a little bit, just to kind of try to get the heifer to go one way and the bull out the gate. And now we have successfully got the heifer in the pen by herself for weaning. You want to make sure your pens are secured pretty good because they're going to try to see if they can get out for the first little bit. Here I'm just kind of hanging out watching, making sure she's not going to do anything too goofy. Try to keep her as safe as possible. We're just going to kind of let her settle in and settle down, and I will come back and check on her in a bit. It's been about 3 days since the last video, and this is the first time I've been in the pen with her. I've just been watching, making sure she's eating and drinking okay. So we're going to try to get a halter on her and get her moved out to my weaning pen so I can start working with her every day. Let's see if we can get it done. So here I'm not really trying to chase her around or anything. What I'm trying to do is just get a good place where I can try to slip that rope over her head because I am not a roper, so we just kind of got to work with what we can. So she gave me a good opportunity to get the rope on her right here. I'm not really trying to pull too hard on it or choke her or anything like that. I just need a little bit of leverage to be able to get my hands on her to try and get her over in that corner so I can get a halter on her. It just seems to be the quickest way to get it done. A few seconds of discomfort and we can get the halter on and be done with this rope and never have to see it again. So here I'm just kind of waiting for her to settle just a little bit and calm down so I can try to get my hands on her and get her over into that corner like I said to try to get that halter on. So here I'm just loosening the rope, making sure it's not choking her or anything like that. We're going to scoot her up here a little bit, and I'm going to pet her just for a second to let her know I'm not really trying to hurt her or eat her or anything like that. I'm going to grab the halter and try to get on her as quickly as possible, all while moving at a slow and steady pace. Sometimes they stand for this and sometimes they do not, but I'm just trying to kind of rub on her a little bit, let her know that I'm not here to hurt her or anything like that. So now that we got the halter on, I'm gonna tie her with a little bit of length to a post so she can kind of fight with that a little bit, learn to give a little bit to the pressure before I try to move her out, and we'll see what happens from there. So now I have her tied to the post so she can kind of learn how to lean off that pressure a little bit. And I'm gonna let her sit here and figure that out before I try to move her. Sometimes I figure it out pretty quickly. Sometimes it can take 10-15 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Here, I'm just trying to get her moved out from back behind the barn in that initial separation and weaning pen to the dry lot pen that I use for all of the calves that I am weaning and training. We're not really working on any kind of training right now. I'm just trying to get her moved from back there to the pen as quickly and effectively as possible. I'm doing that by standing behind her and giving her a little bit of motivation to move forward. We will stop and take little breaks if needed. Just slowly try to work our way to the pen. I had one of our 3-year-old steers tied up in the yard. He's kind of our resident babysitter, so he knows the deal and knows what's going on and kind of helps me out a little bit here, which is kind of cool. Now that we made it to the pen, I've tied the rope up on the top bar so I can freely get behind her and kind of help get her just in the pen. Now that we made it in the pen, I'm going to take the longer rope off of her and attach a shorter lead rope. I kind of like for her to just wear that around for just a little while, kind of get the feel of it and get used to it. I do stay where I can see her while she's wearing the halter and lead loose in the pen, just in case. She's had the halter on and the lead for about, 15-20 minutes around in her little pen. So here I'm just trying to catch her so we can take everything off. Just trying to keep everything at a slow and steady pace because I don't want to push her too hard. I don't want her running into the fence panels or any of that. I'm just kind of waiting for a good opportunity where I can either step on or grab that rope. All I'm doing right now is just kind of holding on to the rope, waiting for her to just kind of chill out and give me an opportunity to walk up and remove her halter. So how you take the halter off is just as important as how you put it on. So I'm going to start by unbuckling it. And before I get it all the way down, I'm going to slide my hand right here, because I do not want her to just take off as soon as the halter comes off. And as soon as she's relaxed, I'm going to then let her go. So this is the next day after I got her moved out to the pen, and we're going to try to catch her and do a little bit of the starting work of leading. So we'll see how that goes. It's not the prettiest thing on earth, but I set that there to block the little alleyway because the goal is to get her in this little shelter here, so it's easier to catch her in the beginning. I just have this small little weaning pen. This is where I keep all the calves that I'm working. So let's see if we can get Miss Penelope in this little house and get her caught. I'm not chasing her. I'm just going at a nice slow pace. I'm going to try and get her to walk in the house on her own. So now that she's in the little shelter, I'll move you in here and see if I can get you a good view of what goes on inside the house when I try to catch her. So now that we have her in the house, I'm going to try and get the halter back on her. This will be the second time she's been haltered. The goal is to have her not run out the door, not jump out the window, not get kicked. But Ashley's calves out of her and Superstar are some of our most laid back ones naturally. They just have a really, really nice temperament. They're the ones that are my go-to for anyone looking for pets. I might remake this video when I have one of the more sensitive, reactive calves, but right now she is the one who's ready for weaning, so let's see what we can do here. So I'm just going to kind of put the rope around her neck. She's a little nervous about it, but not too bad. Obviously not real reactive. I do prefer to be on the other side, so I am just going to see if I can move her a little bit. Stand here by her side. I don't want to approach her from the front. This is much less threatening. She is making all of this look way too easy. They are all not like this. Sometimes it takes me several attempts to get this achieved. But again, the temperament on Ashley's calves is just really nice. I'm not going to be pulling on her, asking her to go straight to lead. We're going to start with getting her to turn on her front end. And I'm just going to come out here, hold a little bit of pressure, steady pressure until she will give to it. She's not giving. There, she came forward, she took a step. I release instantly. That teaches her when I come forward, the pressure comes off. We're going to try it this way. Just hold. It was a little bit of a release, so I'm going to take it. You can't be too picky in the very beginning. Let's try it one more time. Good. Good. So now that we have her turning on her front end just a little bit, I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to see if I can get her to come out of the pen, and I'm going to tie her to that post so she can kind of work on that pressure and release all by herself for a little bit. She starts moving. I do not want to pull on this rope in the very beginning. Even if she goes off the wrong way, I will hold her, keep her from obviously running off too much. I don't want her to have a whole lot of rope, but I do want her to have enough she can move around, kind of eat some grass. I'm going to start with there. Do a quick release tie. That way, if for any reason I need to untie her, I can just pull this one rope and she is free. What we're looking for is for her to figure out a little bit of pressure and release on her own. So right now she's pulling against the post, creating pressure, and she'll figure out if she moves forward like you just seen, the pressure's released. And here you're seeing her pull against it again. She's going to try this a few times, I'm sure. You just wait for her. Sometimes that tail gets to wagging right before they release. As you can see, she's figuring it out very quickly. She's not even pulling on the rope anymore after she gets the release from the pressure by moving forward. And now we're just going to leave her tied out here for a little while. 15, 30 minutes maybe. She does have a bucket of water on the other side of the post there I just gave her. She can get shade when she walks around the corner as well. You can see she's already figuring out, hey, if I back off this rope, it doesn't pull on me. We'll keep her at this length for a few days until she figures it out a little better. Once she quits pulling on it and she's content just sitting there eating grass, then we are going to start on forward movement while leading. And that will be the next video. So this video was taken a couple days after the last clip. It's just showing I gave her a little bit of longer rope, and she's still working on the pressure and release, but she is very quickly coming a long way with it. She's doing really good. She even decided to get comfortable enough that she could lay down and just kind of hang out and enjoy the nice day. So I've still just been working on the turning, light pressure, turn. She gives forward movement. I don't fight it. That's how we've been getting to where we want to go to tie out. We'll probably start working on forward leading before long. So we've been working on the turning, release. We're going to work on straight leading now. I'm going to ask her forward. We're just going to hold until she takes a step. Release. Release. Hold, hold, hold. Steady, even pressure. Release. Release. If she holds that too long, I'll keep even pressure and I'll go back to, hey, turn. Move your feet. We'll try again. Hold, hold, hold. Release. Hold, hold, hold. She's not giving. We'll go back to turn. Release. Hold, hold, hold. Release. Yeah. Took a couple steps on her own. Give her a break. Reward her. A couple of seconds. Just let her think about it. We'll ask again. Release. God.
And she did really good there, so we're going to stop there for the day.
We are just making our way out to where I tie her out. And instead of using the turning to get her to go, we are going to work on straight leading all the way there. Hold, release. I'll flip you around. Hold, hold, hold. Release. Hold, hold, hold. Release. This way, this way. Good. I'm not going to start out leading right up next to her and keep her more comfortable, keep a little length between us. She's just more likely to start leading that way, and then I will slowly get closer and closer to her in the next week or so as she leads better and better. And once she is leading with me at least halfway closer to her than I am right now, and she's not stopping every few feet, we will move on to introducing some obstacles. We're not going to do any obstacles until I can turn her on her front end, her hind end, and she will lead properly. There's no point in moving forward and adding more and more things until she's doing the steps before decently. I think you get the idea. So I haven't done a lot of up-close work with her yet, but we are going to start that today. This is the first time she's getting brushed. Let her smell it a little. I'm not going to start with her head. Just going to go slow. It's okay. Should figure out pretty quick that it doesn't really hurt. Watch the hind legs. I have a good hold here, so her hind end will swing that way if she goes to kick. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Have a nice soft brush. It's not stiff. It's not extra pokey. That's alright. She can move a little, but just not too much. Go to the other side. The reason I wait to do more of the up-close stuff is obviously I don't want her running around. Everything else when I'm trying to brush her in the very beginning, I don't want to be asking her to stand still, stand still, stand still when I'm trying to work on forward movement and leading. But I think she is ready for this. See if we can get some fly spray. I am gonna pet her and touch her just a little bit. She's pretty laid back, like I said. Some of them kind of move around when you first fly spray them, first brush them. You just kind of keep them in a smaller circle. Don't let them just take completely off.
Now that we're reaching the end of the first 30 days, you can see that she's leading pretty good. She's not really stopping every couple feet anymore. She's just kind of moseying along, following along like she's supposed to. She's turning on her hind end both directions, pretty good. And also turning on her front end very well. I hope you enjoyed seeing how we handle our calves in the first 30 days of our program, and I hope someone could get something out of it that might be able to help them work with their dam raised calves. Now that Penelope is doing really good with all of these things, we are going to be moving on to introducing some obstacles. Thanks for watching.